Hey, what is up guys? GuitarRock here. Welcome back to another Zenless on Zero video. Let's talk about Orphie and Magus. So right now, she's going to be of the second half of the current version, with Sid being the first half. So I want to talk a little bit more about her as a whole. In general, give you guys a better idea of where she lies. And I do think that for most players, doesn't matter if you're new or you're a veteran player, you probably should be skipping her. Now, this is coming from someone that actually do love her design, and I'm actually thinking of pulling her myself, but there's a couple of reasons why that you want to take into consideration before, just jumping into the gun and spending all your hard-earned polychromes on her because of how strict she is in the meta right now. Now, I'm mostly going to be speaking from the meta perspective. Obviously, if you are pulling her because you love her design, you love her in the story, then go for it, right? If you're just doing that because you love the character as a whole, for waifu reasons or whatever, then that's fine. But for me, I'm just speaking in terms of as someone that's looking at this from the meta perspective. This is going to be something that I think is going to be, for most players, you're better off skipping her. Let's first jump into the number one, right? I'm sure you guys are aware by now. In the next version, version 2.3, we're going to have two new characters coming soon, alright? That's going to be Yidari. She's going to be there in the second half, and I strongly believe that both Lucia and of course Komano Manato is going to be in the first half of the banner. So basically, right now, you are sort of competing against either getting Orphie and Magus or pulling for the next character. In this case, both Lucia and Komano Manato. Now, Komano Manato is going to be an A rank. I get it. He's going to be less, I would say, important in making your decision in pulling, because A rank characters generally you want to pull surrounding the S ranks, right? So Lucia is going to be a support character, alright? If you guys are not aware, she's going to be someone that probably is going to stay relevant in the meta. She's going to be the first Rupture support. Now, generally, by now, you guys are probably aware that supporters generally tend to have a longer lasting in terms of meta relevance, right? So I'm sure you guys are aware. I can give you guys some example. I would say the most notable one is going to be Astra Yao, which I believe a lot of you guys probably have. Astra Yao is probably one of the best supporter in the game, right? Competing with Yuzuha right now. So Astra Yao, probably you're going to use her in an attacker team, and then Yuzuha you're going to use her in an anomaly team. Now obviously we also have Nicole, alright? So everybody probably have her or build her, or maybe you are aware that she's probably going to be one of the better free characters to build as well, with all of these relevant supporters in the game. So I believe, I strongly believe that pulling for someone like Lucia is going to make more sense for a lot of players' accounts, especially if you're free to play, right? Trying to go for limited characters tend to be very expensive, right? If you lose 50-50 and all, that means you have to go in twice, so that's like a lot of pulls. So if you don't have enough, I would say Lucia is probably going to be a better one. Plus, she probably comes alongside with Komano Manato, which is going to be the A rank, in this particular case, character in that particular banner. Now, I know maybe not many of you guys are interested in him. Whether or not you like him or not, that's a separate story. But Lucia is probably going to be something that I do think that it's going to make more sense. Now, the timing of this banner for Orphie and Magus right now is going to be a little bit unfortunate, because she is going to be in between this very weird place in the second half of version 2.2, where she's going to compete with the next character that's perhaps going to be longer lasting in the meta, right? So one more thing, why I don't think pulling for her is a good choice. Now, this video is sponsored by Enjoy GM. Now, what is Enjoy GM? Enjoy GM is a fast, secure and affordable recharge or top-up service website that you can use to top up any of the games that you play. The games doesn't just apply to Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, but also live streaming applications like Bigo as well, as you can see right here. Now, something that I'm personally very curious is how do these websites, for example, provide you a cheaper benefit to top up in the particular game. As you can see right here, if I were to look at Zenless on Zero, this is going to be something that's definitely cheaper than what the game offers. Now, Enjoy GM has a direct connection with some of these companies, which eliminates some of the Play Store or App Store fee that's needed in some of the top-up system. For those of you who are not aware, basically when you buy a package in Android or iOS, Google and Apple takes a cut from that package. But right here, if you are topping up via Enjoy GM, it's going to be simple, straightforward, and you are also going to get 24/7 support. For some of these games, Zenless on Zero, for example, you can basically just do it by including your UID in the game. And that's the only thing that it needs. You only need the UID and the server. Alright, there's no password needed. For the Hoyo games right here, that's going to be Genshin Impact, Zenless Zero, and Honkai Star Rail. Now you can basically read some of the FAQs right here, and they even support plenty of different payments including Visa, MasterCard, Apple Pay, Google Pay, etc. Now for games like Wuthering Waves, however, the process is a little bit different. So you can see right here, you have to use a Kuro Games account. So if you log into Wuthering Waves using your Google or your Apple, Facebook, whatever, make sure you are syncing that to a Kuro Games account. The instructions are all very clear, and of course, every single game has their own method to log in, so make sure you guys read them. Now, in case you guys are worried about bans, the company holds full compliance certifications and has operated for years with 0 complaints of account bans, so there's that. So some of these you can literally get up to 30% discount, which is going to be huge if you are a whale and you're looking to buy plenty of packages in the game. Big shout out to EnjoyJM for sponsoring today's video. If you guys want to check it out, I'll have the referral link in the description below, and there's also going to be 24/7 support and global payment for this particular website. With that, let's jump into the video. So when you pull for Orphie, in most cases, you are probably going to pull for not her, but you're going to pull for the other 2 characters that she basically supports. And in this case, it's going to be none other than basically Sid and Soldier Zero NB. So that's going to be Orphie and Magus's best partner right now. So if you're looking to build a team with Orphie and Magus, these are going to be the recommended team compositions. This is by Hoyoverse themselves, but if you refer to Pritwen as well, so you can see right here, her best team is indeed going to be Sid and of course NB Soldier Zero, because Orphie buffs a little bit of the aftershock and stuff, so making Soldier NB Zero even stronger than she is. Now both NB Soldier Zero and Sid are going to be a very strong character moving forward. They are both pretty solid in the meta now. They're not the top tier, they're not Miyabi or Yishuan level, but they are solid, right? They both can be used. You can probably get pretty great results with them in the end game, and of course Trigger right there as well. As you can see, these are going to be somewhat the main reasons why you're pulling Orphie for, which is going to be a little bit weird because you're not pulling Orphie for Orphie in the, I'm talking about again in the meta sense. You're pulling her to complement Sid or to complement NB in that case, right? NB Soldier Zero to basically make the team stronger as a whole. But both Soldier Zero NB and Sid, they both already sort of can help each other, and basically in my opinion, they both work pretty decent already, right? So I feel like putting Orphie in there, pairing Orphie with Sid or pairing Orphie with Soldier Zero NB might sound like a great idea right now, but here's what I think is going to happen in the future, right? So again, this is just going to be me theory crafting. Now I'm sure you guys are aware by now, Deadly Assault is going to be the end game of basically this particular game. One of the end game alongside with Shield Defense. I haven't done the current season, still have 8 more days, but by now you are aware that a lot of the characters, basically they will have a weakness of a specific element, right? In this case, this particular enemy is weak against electric and physical, right? And then resist to ice. What can happen in the future is the devs can basically just mess up the team composition of Orphie and Sid or Orphie and Soldier Zero NB by just giving the boss some sort of like fire resistance. Like if you think about it that way, right? So imagine if the boss is electric weak, but the boss have fire resistance. So that's going to make your Orphie like irrelevant in that particular case, right? Now that hasn't happened yet, but of course there's a chance that that could be a thing that could potentially happen in the future. So they can nerf that particular team comp as a whole. So I feel like building mono element, like putting Soldier Zero NB with Sid, that way they are both electric element, you use them and then you basically get the best out of them, right? So because if the enemy is weak against electric, use them together. If the enemy is weak against fire, then you can use someone else, which is going to be another character that's right now in the particular banner. If you need a fire character, that's where I think Evelyn is probably going to be better, right? So I feel like Evelyn right now is still going to be top tier in terms of meta, and she's probably by far the strongest fire character in the game, right? If you're looking for, like right now, if you have to absolutely pick one fire character, I would definitely recommend Evelyn. She's less restrictive in terms of the team comp that she has to build. Now if you have Ezra Yao, cool. Now if you don't have that, there's plenty of other characters that you can pair with her, like Nicole and stuff, right? And also like Lighter works really well with her. Now if you don't have Lighter, there's plenty of other ones including Sid. Sid works pretty well with her as well. Trigger works pretty well with her as well. So there's quite a lot of flexibility in Evelyn as well as a whole. She's pretty much an upgraded Soldier 11. That's going to be something that you can consider. All in all, I think those are plenty of solid reasons for you to consider or reconsider you know, going all in for Orphie because the placement right now with the support character coming next, which is Lucia, she's competing against Evelyn right now in the same banner version, which is kind of insane. She's also quite restrictive in terms of building the team. You either need a Soldier Zero Envy or you need a Seed as a whole, and if you already have the other two, they can both probably be in the same team. You probably don't need her to complement there, right? And also one more thing, right, that you should consider as well, that perhaps might not be the best advice for free-to-play players out there, but I do think it's going to be a solid advice if you are somewhat of a like a monthly player in terms of buying Battle Pass or buying the monthly and stuff. You can actually consider for Evelyn's W engine as well. In my opinion, this is going to be one of the better W engine in the game. Now, what does this do, right? As you can see, this one, crit damage increased by 50%. When the equiper enters combat, you basically get chain attack, alright, and ultimate, you gains 1 heart string. Alright, each attack of heart string allows the equiper's chain attack ultimate to ignore 12.5% of the target's fire resistance. Alright, stacking 2 times, lasting 30 seconds. This is probably one of the better weapon in the game, alright, to consider getting. This is a very, very solid weapon if you have Evelyn. Also, it's probably one of the better attacker W engine, right? If you look at how flexible this is, because even if you don't get the fire resistance, you are still going to be able to obtain the crit damage that this particular one gives, right? And also this one gives you crit rate as well. So it's going to make it for much more easier in terms of building your character compared to something like Orphie's one, alright? So that you can see right here, Orphie one, give energy regen for the stat for the W engine right here, but you also get a little bit of crit rate here. But this one is very niche, right? When the equiper triggers aftershock that deals fire damage. Now if you pull for this W engine, you're pretty much going to basically restrict this W engine to your Orphie, and you can't really use this elsewhere, right? Whereas for the Evelyn one, I feel like it's much more flexible in terms of you get way more, right? This one is energy regen and crit rate %. It's a little bit weird for an attacker W engine, I guess. But all in all, I guess that's pretty much the point, right? I feel like if you really like Orphie's design, definitely you can consider it. I think she's going to be decent, but you know, if you already got Seed, you know, and there's plenty of characters coming later on in 2.3 as well. So I feel like right now, Orphie is in a very weird spot, right? She feels really restrictive. She doesn't seem to have the flexibility that most other attack characters have, which is a little bit upsetting. But all in all, that's just going to be my own personal opinion after looking at this, analyzing the situation and looking at all the other options that you have as a player, right? Now again, if you agree or disagree, let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you guys as well. Are you guys pulling for Orphie regardless, you know, just for the collection, just for the waifu purposes? Why not, right? But with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Give this video a like. Have a nice day. Goodbye.